Welcome to the EHS Radio Show on Siemens FM. I'm your host, David Walker. Thank you. Thank you very much for being a part of our podcast today. Thank you. Total worker health, mental health, workplace complacency, attitude, understanding mindset. It's okay not to be okay. All these new buzzwords for our rapidly evolving workplace and workforce. How do you understand it? And better yet, how do you cope with it? Today, we are really, really honored to have on our show the person who I consider the Siemens expert in this field, who is going to help us to understand why it matters and how it matters to all of us. So please join me in welcoming to the podcast, Anna Borg. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for having me at your famous EHS radio show. I'm really curious what you will ask me.
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask you some good stuff because I think you have so much to offer. And so tell us in your condensed version, because we don't have enough time to hear the whole story. And one day I do want to hear the whole story, but tell us about your background, your career choice, including the path that brought you to Siemens, and what is your role today as a psychologist inside of Siemens?
Oh, well. So Dave, I'll try to make it short. But to start with, I'm a health and safety person by heart. This is really something that is my passion, to do health and safety and support people and to get a deep understanding on how to design work in a way that people can really do it in a good way and in a well way. But maybe let's start at the beginning. By profession, as you said, I'm a psychologist, and to be more exact on that, I'm an organizational psychologist, and that is dealing with design of work and organization in a human-centered way. And I started my career at the university in research. And as you might remember, it was quite some years back. There, the human-computer interaction was a real hot topic. And then it was only possible to communicate by typing, not by seeing each other and talking to each other like we do now. And the big question was, how can we design tools to do this communication in a smooth and effective way? And this is really close to how to design work in a way that people can do it good, right? And after my research work at the university, I started as a consultant in a consulting company specialized on health and safety. And this really fitted nicely, as safety is not solely about technique, but it's about people, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
To get a deeper understanding on the safety part, I also did a qualification as an occupational safety specialist to get familiar with all these rules, regulations, and the technical aspects. And my main topics in the consulting were always the safety culture, as how work is done and how can we do that in a safe way. And of course, the topic of mental well-being at work. In the beginning, it was rather a rocky road, as business did not really acknowledge the impact of the mental well-being on work. Comments like, hey, we are doing work here, we are not doing therapy, were quite common.
Yeah.
But this changed around 29, I guess, with the rise of sick leaves and the rise of openness in society by outing of celebrities on their mental health issues. You might remember that.
Yes, I do.
During my time as a consultant, and this is something that I really appreciated, I got insights in many different industries and companies. To name a few, I was in mining, I was in the chemical industry, in IT and in manufacturing. And the great part was that I really dig deep in the companies. So I was not only sitting in the meeting rooms with the top management and doing speeches, but also getting down to where work is done and companion people at their work. So I've been in underground in a salt mine, for example, and accompanied night shifts at a chemical plant. And this was really with talking with people and gave me a real deep understanding on how work is really done. Another really important learning from being a consultant was that the problems are quite similar. And this is Doesn't matter whether you are in Germany, in Spain, in China, or in the US. The problems are quite similar, but the solutions have to be different. There's no one size fits all. And it really depends on type of work and of culture in the company or the region. And you as a person get really humble and learn to listen closely, because that is so important.
That's a great point.
Yeah, and as being a consultant was really great, but as you can imagine, it's kind of firefighting. You just jump in when it burns and solve the problem, and you never have the chance to develop a topic on the long run. And here Siemens came into play. Actually, I got in contact to Siemens as a consultant. Together with Uli Birner, my predecessor, I developed a tool called Psychosocial to do the psychosocial risk assessment at Siemens. And finally, in April 21, as Uli retired, I took over his role as head of psychosocial health and well-being. And now here I am, having the great chance to develop the mental well-being on the long run and get it in the DNA of Siemens.
Yeah, and you're succeeding. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're succeeding. You've done an outstanding job. So that's amazing that you have the hands-on. Unlike some people have the perception that psychologists and some doctorate level people, they don't ever understand work as really done. They just imagine it. But you've got a great story because you've actually lived it. So that's great. So Anna, tell me your opinion. Total worker health cannot be accomplished without addressing mental health and mindset. How do we at Siemens tackle this or approach this from a global perspective?
Yeah, you're totally right. Mental health has a major role to play here. And as you know, we at Siemens have a very holistic understanding of health and well-being that really fits smoothly to the ideas and the approach of this total worker health of the US. And here at Siemens, first, we really connect health and safety. And that's the reason why we set up our global health and safe program, which you already are part of and doing at the US, right?
Yes.
Second, we put well-being of our people at the center, as it's crucial for business success and the resilience of our company. If people are not in a state of well-being, they cannot make smart decisions and fulfill their tasks. What is well-being all about? It's kind of a fluffy word and everybody understands something different beneath it. So well-being, this really encompasses physical, social, and mental well-being. And on the individual level, you can say it's kind of a balanced state in which every individual realizes his or her own abilities, can flourish, cope with the normal stresses of life, work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his or her organization. And this state, of course, and we all experience that every day, moves on a continuum. There are these days where you're really well and I'm feeling happy and satisfied, but there are also these other days. But it's not only about the individual. As we as humans are embedded in the world and constantly interact with our environment, this is true for work too, of course. And by that, mental well-being at work is not just down to an individual state of mind, it's about the working conditions have to play a major role. And talking about working conditions, I'm talking about work tasks, what we are doing. I'm talking about work organization, how our work is organized, and how the processes are designed and stuff like that. And of course, of collaboration with the team, with our leaders. Also, the work environment has a big influence and a big impact on our own and individual mental health and well-being. Yeah, and this is also scientifically proven and well researched by organizational psychologists, of course.
That's why I was so excited about having you on the show, because buzzwords, total worker health, mental health, mindset. But you tied it all in together, and you gave a great, I wish we had a lot more time. You gave a great perspective about how Siemens approaches this, and you, excellent job putting that into words in this really small bubble. So we take that information, Anna, As a global leader, Siemens is a global leader in so many areas. Where do you see us today with respect to total work or health? And where do you see us in 2 years and maybe in 5 years going forward with this?
You want to take me a look in my crystal ball, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want. Yes.
I try. And this question is really a hard one. And first of all, you get the most common answer of a psychologist. It depends. It totally depends.
It's a good answer. It makes sense, right? But give us some leadership on this. Where do you see it?
Yeah, actually, I try. As I already pointed out before, we at Siemens are kind of all set, and we are doing a lot to promote mental well-being. We have the necessary tools in place. For example, we prevent work-related mental illness by taking care of healthy and safe working conditions. Here we got this tool in place, the psychosocial risk management, or to put it short, the PRM, to ensure mental well-being, supportive working conditions. By hardwiring this to our Siemens engagement survey, we reach really a milestone, and by that people can assess their work conditions once a year and start a conversation on how to reduce stressors and on how to nurture also our resources we have at the workplaces, of course. And here, with this conversation on the work well-being factors, we did really a great start. On the other hand, we also take care of our people, as you know very well. And this is, for example, done by our employee assistance programs and the many learning offers we have in, for example, our learning world. And here we support our people on their individual mental health. And on regards of EAP, we have reached that over 85% of our people have access to EAP globally at Siemens. But I think that's really another milestone.
That is a milestone.
But on the other hand, as we are a really huge and complex company, there's still room for improvement, of course. And on a global level, we provide these materials and tools, but it has to get to life on local level, right?
Yes.
There, where work is done. And from the feedback I get, the urgency and the importance of this topic is totally understood. But there are some question marks on the how. And by now, it's not yet an overall, or let's maybe say a deep understanding of this connection I described before of good work design, mental health, and business success. Then actually, if we do invest in well-being, we invest in business success, don't we?
Absolutely. That's exactly right. Excellent. You're very highly regarded and you're well sought out for different engagements and things. So you talk to different people and you get a chance to address different groups and different summits and conferences. So and I ask a lot of people this same question, so it's kind of redundant. So you're sitting in front of an audience and someone asks you, Anna, based on your professional experience, why do you believe that Siemens is a great place to work? What do you tell them?
Yeah, for me, it's really this, it revolves around people, right? And it's the real interest in people at Siemens. That's what I experience, at least. And the fostering of this supportive collaboration. On my personal view, we really invest in a positive culture and in a design of work that really supports our mental health. And I experience a great willingness to collaborate and engage in the topic of mental well-being. And taking my start at Siemens as an example, my team and the global EHS community really supported my onboarding 1.5 years ago and getting me familiar with our complex and really huge company. And I really love the trust that is given to me as an expert. And even as I'm located in Germany, I'm talking to people all over the world. And here I get really inspired and learn something new every day.
I am so fortunate that we get to share your views and your explanations and the theory and philosophy behind this to the world. That's excellent. Anna, you have an unbelievable challenge that you lead up And I think it does make a difference, and it makes an impact about how we are perceived by our customers, by our coworkers, people that want to go to work for us, and just the overall impression. You make a really profound impact on that. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thanks again for having me, and I hope we can get further on that topic of mental well-being.
We will, and we will talk again soon, and maybe within the next 12 to 18 months, we will come back together and do an update to this podcast and talk about the progress we made and where we're going from that point, if you're willing to do that.
That would be really great, and I'd love to.
Yeah, I look forward to doing it too. Thank you, Ron.
You have been listening to the EHS radio show on Siemens FM.
Please take the time to invite your friends to subscribe to the show if you already have, and do not hesitate to provide feedback to myself. If you have any questions or comments, to david.w.walker@siemens.com. Be kind to everyone, and for heaven's sake, be safe.